Hi, I'm Tara Darlington from Empowering Motherhood, and welcome to the 7 Secrets of Childbirth. Now, there's obviously a lot more than 7 secrets to childbirth. I've just grouped them into 7 videos so that to really help you get an overall understanding of what it is that you can do to point yourself down the road of a positive birth experience. Now, I have 6 children of my own. My first was I had at a birth centre, had a really lovely straightforward birth, and really discovered in that what a positive, empowering birth is. Originally, I just set out to have a birth that wasn't traumatic, but I discovered a whole lot more when I did get this very empowering, profoundly empowering experience. My next one was a cesarean section, and then the 4 children after that were all home births. So this video series is a culmination of my own personal experiences, as well as my many years as a birth educator, doula, yoga teacher. I specialise in women's health yoga from prenatal to mums and bubs, fertility and beyond. And also as an energy healer. I've discovered a lot as an energy healer about some of the things that are underlying our thoughts and emotions and actions in life. So what I want to do today is talk about the first secret to childbirth, which is that you can affect the outcome of your labour, and give you an overall view of what it is that a woman's body needs in order to labour. So the first question that I often ask women that I work with is, what do they think that they need, and what is, have they heard of active birth, and what is active birth, what do they think that means? And I've just put up a list here of the typical responses that I get, very common with each group, pretty much the same responses. So one of the first things that always comes up is being listened to. It's very important that women are listened to. That it's your birth, it's your baby. It's very important that you have your voice, and that the people around you that you're working with respect that. Another point that always comes up is letting go and surrender. So we need to let go of the thinking mind. We need to surrender our old life and our old self, almost, to step in through this transformation into our new life and our new self, as a mother, in whatever form that's taking, whether it's your first child or subsequent child, and no matter the outcome of the birth. So there's a real letting go and surrendering. So while we're there's all these things that we can do to set us on the road of a positive and empowering birth. At the same time, there's a massive letting go and surrendering that needs to happen, allowing the birth to unfold. And this is the magical and the mystical of birth, I guess, where we let things unfold and enjoy that process of the unknown. Another common thing that comes up is feeling comfortable and feeling in control. And both of these things really do have 2 sides of the coin. So when we look at in control, for example, we need to let go in labour. So, what is the in control? We want to be in control of things so that people are respecting our voice, respecting our wishes, respecting our vision, and we're being listened to. So that way, when we know that we feel safe is another one that often comes up. When we know we feel safe and supported, that we're in control, that nothing's going to happen nothing's going to happen to us. Women want to know that nothing's going to happen to them without them consenting to it, without them, they want to feel in control. They don't want to feel things spiraling out of effect, or things happening to them that they don't understand, or that they perhaps don't even want. So we need to set things up so that we can let go and surrender completely in our labour, which also means letting go and surrendering to how that journey might unfold. We don't know how the birth is going to unfold. We work with what we do know and what we need in order to allow ourselves and our body to let go and surrender to birth a baby. Comfortable, just like in control, sort of has these 2 sides of the coin. We want to be the most comfortable that we can in labour, which also means working on our health beforehand, so that we don't get too swollen and too uncomfortable in our, in our pelvis and with our movement and our general health. But also in labour, that we're comfortable. So we have a blanket when we need it. We have a face washer when we need it. Drinks when we need them. Maybe cushions under your knees if you're getting sore knees because you want to be on the floor. So that the people around us are helping us to make sure we're as comfortable as we can be. But there's also another side to comfortable, which is that we're comfortable to speak our voice with the people that are in our room or in our company during labour. That we're comfortable and trust the people that we're working with, that are supporting us, to be vulnerable, to let go of inhibitions, to allow ourselves to be naked, to allow ourselves to open and work with our body and let the baby come down. So knowledge is a very powerful thing as well. So I always say to my clients that I'm working with, there's a lot to learn, but there's a lot also to unlearn. Now what I mean by that is there's a lot of messages in the media and images in the media. The media and just loves to pick up on the drama of birth and the emergency of birth. And what we're seeing, generally what we're being fed probably on a bit of a subconscious level about birth is a lot of fear. Is that you lie on your back in labour? Is that it's a drama and it's an emergency? So with knowledge, we need to relearn what normal labour actually is. It's a very different vision to that. It's not very often that you see on a TV show a woman on her hands and knees with everyone sitting around quietly giving birth, and I guess just waiting around for hours while a woman labours contently doesn't really make for very good television in this age of and every instant gratification and sensationalism. So we need to gain our knowledge of what normal labour is, what all of our choices are. Choices is another word that often comes up when we're talking about labour and natural birth with women and empowering birth. So an empowering birth, may not be a natural labour for you, but all of these things still come into play. So we want to unlearn the things that aren't serving us, that are creating fear, confusion and conflicting, and that sense of urgency and emergency, because as we'll learn later in one of the other videos, that actually works against our labour. It actually inhibits our labour, potentially making labour longer and more complicated, and therefore potentially less safe for the mother and the baby. And we want to relearn what our choices are, what are the options, what are the pros and cons or the risks and benefits of the different choices that we can make, and relearn what normal labour is, what normal birth actually looks like. So positions, moving around and being active, obvious things when you talk about active birth and active labour. So it's really important for women to move around in labour, and you'll naturally feel probably a little restless, like rocking or swaying, changing positions from time to time. Women don't usually stay in the one position for the whole labour. Your body wants you to move around. The more you turn inward and let go and surrender and listen to your body and listen to yourself, the more you will start to really feel what it is that you need to give your body in labour for the baby to come down, your body to open and the baby to birth. So being supported is a key thing as well. We need to know that the people supporting us support our vision, they support our voice. It will also be physical support, just like we discussed before, of bringing things that you need so that you can stay completely focused and as comfortable as possible, and let go and turn inward and surrender to the process of the labour. Now, labour is a sacred transformation, and as a society we really need to come and acknowledge that in a much bigger way, and that in itself will start to turn the tide on the way women are treated in labour and the outcomes that women are having in labour. There's a lot of postnatal depression, there's a lot of post-traumatic stress, And there's a lot of, at the same time, there's actually a lot of benefits of normal labour in avoiding these things. It's very important for women to be in control so they can let go, to be listened to have the knowledge, so that they can have an empowering birth, a positive birth, and really revere and acknowledge the sacredness of birth. And as the people come around to support her in that way, that in itself changes the outcome of the birth. It changes the woman, and it changes the way that she can turn in and let go and listen to her intuition, her instinct, and listen and follow her body. Breathing and relaxation. You've probably all heard about breathing for labour. It's generally a yoga breathing that's taught, which is a deep breath in through the nose, deep into the body, and creates a relaxation response. So we do know the more calm and relaxed a woman is, the more labour hormones she gets. And again, we're going to talk a little bit more about that later. So the breathing and the relaxation are really key elements in labour for women. And the other thing that I've got here is informed consent. It's your body, it's your baby, and it's your birth. It's extremely important that you get to say what your care should be, that you give informed consent all along the way. Everything is a choice for you, and you get to choose if that's how the road that you want to go down. You want to be informed consent, so you want to understand the benefits and the risks of any intervention or any help that you've been offered, so that you are in full control of the decision making. And then you've gathered around by people who are going to support that for you, and people with the knowledge to share with you to help you make any decisions with informed consent. Now that's actually, a legal right of yours to have informed consent throughout your pregnancy, labour, and birth. So this is just an introduction to the 7 secrets of childbirth, and what I'm sharing with you is what millions of women have experienced. Thousands of generations of women have experienced that when these things are in place, there's just a much more chance of having a positive, empowering birth. So what we're doing is we're setting you down the road of that, and you can start to see if we don't have these things, if we do the opposite to these things, that is where birth generally becomes a lot more complicated, and unnecessarily so. So you can also go over to empoweringmotherhoodradio.com. There's a whole list of free podcasts that you can listen to there, and some of them directly relate to birth. So it's empoweringmotherhoodradio.com. So start your journey of getting that knowledge, so that you can really get a full understanding of what it is that you need, and start to make a birth plan that's going to be right for you. There is a saying, heal birth, heal the world. And I really do think there's a lot of truth in this. So a lot of women are walking around with postnatal depression, and a lot of women are suffering post-traumatic stress because of their birth. So the idea that it's just a day in your life, when really it's a very profound, transformative experience that lives in you for the rest of your life. So as we start to become more empowered about birth, and start to heal what is going on in society around birth, make it less of a production line, and take it out of the medical model, as in not seeing a healthy pregnancy as a risk, a set of risks, not seeing a healthy pregnancy as something that needs to be managed, but actually supporting the health of pregnancy right through the birth. We're going to see women much more connected with themselves, coming out of that transformation, feeling empowered, more connected with their baby and their family, and naturally that's going to flow out a ripple effect into society, which we really greatly need. I'm really honoured that you have joined me in this program, and to be a part of your support team, and to guide you along this journey. And congratulations for taking this step. So I'm going to see you in the next video, the 2nd secret to childbirth, which is about gathering the right support team. We're going to go into that into a lot more detail. So you can really start to help you find people online and offline. It's great to connect online, but it's also really important to connect face to face in real life with people that are going to support your vision. All right, so thanks again for joining us, and I'll see you in the next video.